Hey everyone, it's Izzy back again with our channel, The Things We Love. And this video is going to be a little different than our others because it is sharing our birthday party idea that we had for our youngest son. And to give a little context behind how we came up with this birthday party idea is the boys, our two younger children, enjoy watching YouTube as well. And I'm actually not even sure if I'm allowed to share the YouTubers' names, but um, they like to watch the Spy Ninjas still. They've been watching them for a few years now, and I actually like the Spy Ninjas too because there's a couple Filipinos on there, and I'm Filipino too. And they also used to watch like Stephen Shearer and Rebecca Zamalo. And in these videos, they often had a game master hunt. And this was essentially just a scavenger hunt where they would find a series of clues that would lead them closer to, in Stephen Sherr's case, the game master. And it was just this little suspenseful, you know, scavenger hunt. And so when they started watching these YouTubers, I would throw one together for them on the weekend that they really enjoyed. And I even did it for 1 year for my older son's birthday, where I hid his gifts. And on the weekends, it would just be like a Dollar Tree toy, which my boys love the Dollar Tree. So it'd be like a Dollar Tree toy or a few pieces of candy. And I would, you know, set these clues up for them to find the prize at the end. And this year, so also sharing, last year we had all three of our kids' birthdays outside of the house at, the clubhouse or a trampoline place nearby. And those can tend to get pretty pricey. With our younger son, especially, when we paid for that birthday party, I was like, oh, like it was honestly almost embarrassing because I was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really expensive. And it was fun. That place is really, really fun. It's called Urban Air. And it's a really fun place to go, but it turned out to be pretty expensive. So this year, I wanted to do their birthdays. I decided, I was like, we're just doing all three of the kids' birthdays this year at home. And so that's how we decided to have the birthday party at home. Now, on top of that, the boys have been asking me to hide their gifts again and give them clues to find it. So my wheels started turning with that and trying to come up with activities for them to do at home. So we decided maybe he'll just have a scavenger hunt and find his gifts, and him and a handful of his friends can um, find these, find his gifts at the end and go through the clues together. So that is really what this is. We came up with a scavenger hunt birthday party idea, and now he turned 7 on his birthday. This was in October, so it's been a few weeks since this has actually happened because we are really busy for the second half of October. At least I know I am, especially with the fact that I really enjoy pouring all of my time into my family. I spend a lot of time handcrafting things for them and using my brain to make things really fun for them. And so in this case, my youngest son's birthday is October 13th. And the week after his birthday, which that's a Thursday. And so the week after was fall break. And unfortunately, the handful of friends he did choose were all leaving the weekend between his birthday and fall break, leaving for some tropical, beautiful beach that I wish I could have went with them to. But so we ended up having to actually have his birthday on the day of his birthday, which was Thursday. And now this day he actually did go to school, and I always send out my invitations 30 days in advance to whatever party that I'm hosting. And I sent out the invitations for that weekend, and that's how I found out everybody was leaving for fall break to go somewhere awesome. So I was surprised when I came up with this idea that we would just have like a birthday dinner for for him and his friends and do a little scavenger hunt and some cake and ice cream like usual. And all the parents of the like 5 or 6 kids that we invited were down for it. I was like, okay, cool. Because, being a school night and, having cake and ice cream, I don't really know. I didn't really know how they'd feel about it because it's really weird. You never see a parent making a birthday party on a birthday, on a school night. But they were all down for it. So, and actually, as a matter of fact, some of them were like, yeah, anytime somebody wants to watch our kid, I'm all for it. And I was like, man, I feel the same way, honestly. I probably would have let Carter go too. Carter is our youngest son. So I thought I'd share how I came up with the idea, or thought I'd share how I worked through setting up this scavenger hunt for our youngest son's birthday. I'm just going to call him Carter because that's his name. So, first, what I did was I came up with the different locations in the house that I wanted the clues to be. And one thing to keep in mind when you're creating a scavenger hunt is you want it to last. You don't want them to have like 3 or 4 or 5 clues and for them to get done and it's just like over in like 2 minutes. And especially this being for a birthday party, I wanted it to last long enough for it to be considered like an activity. So um, I first started out with the number of clues that I wanted, and in this case, I chose 12. And then I wrote down, excuse me, a list of the locations that I wanted them to be at. Now, I'm going to try and get this to where you can see it, but here I have a list of locations that I wanted the clues to be at. And maybe I'll just take a picture of this and put it up. But I had a list of locations that I wanted the clues to be at. And I just wrote down the list of clues or the locations of the clues, for each location. I didn't really worry about the order that they were in. I knew where I wanted them to start and where I wanted them to finish. So I wrote down the other locations jumbled in the middle. And then after that, if you can see it here, I numbered them. And the reason why I numbered them is because um, my thought process was we have 3 levels to our home. So we have a basement, the first floor, and the second floor. And I was seeking advice from my husband on this. And I was like, so because like, to make it last longer, I was like, do you think we should make it last longer and have them run upstairs and then run back downstairs and upstairs, downstairs and wear them out for that night? And he is like, no, that's just a lot. Maybe we should just keep it on each floor. And so that's what we chose to do. And that's why I ended up numbering the locations to keep it, you know, to keep it on the like each floor. I think I had them do a couple on the first floor because that's where they started. Now, when Carter got home from school, I was like, okay, you're not allowed to go anywhere in the house. You're just supposed to hang out here. You can watch some TV, and then your hunt will start. And after his friends showed up, of course. So they started off on the first floor, and I had them find a couple clues on the first floor. And then they progressed up to the second floor, and then back down to the first floor, and then it ended in the basement. And so I have my lists here on the back. I have a list of things to do. I'm a list maker. It helps me plan things and get things done. It really does. And not to mention, it feels so good to me to cross something out. I take a little ruler and cross it out perfectly when I finished it. So I love doing that. I'll write down even just the littlest things to have something to cross out when I do it. And so after I had come up with the locations and the order in which I wanted them to go, I came up with the clues. And maybe I'll scan this as well and put it up. But I wanted to share the clues with you, in which I'll share them. So the first one was at the cabinet where where they got their very first clue. And I gave them a verbal riddle for that one. I can't remember. I didn't write that one down. But I put the first one at the cabinet at the front door. And so, with this list of clues, which I'll talk a little bit more about how I came up with the riddles for them. But with this list of clues, I also wanted to make sure that the clues came in different forms. And as I go through them, I don't know if if you don't really want to hear the clues or like what specific clues or locations that I chose, just fast forward a little bit, I guess. And uh, the first one was at the cabinet, and this was just a regular riddle. Most of these are just all riddles. And at the front cabinet was a clue, and I put them in little envelopes. Now, I'm still working on recording things. I want to make these videos, but I don't know if everybody wants to just hear me talk and they'd rather actually see what it looked like. Now, I didn't actually, I just stepped away for a second and grabbed. This is a Dollar Tree box of envelopes that I got, and they're just little, I needed them for other things like sending checks for payments and things, so I like to have these on hand, so I just used these for the clues. And inside I would just slip the clue if that's the type of clue that it would fit in. So at each location there was a number one clue and a number two clue. And so the clue at the front cabinet that I gave them a verbal clue to find was, in this, wet clothes go round and round. When the buzzer rings, dry clothes can be found. And I mean, obviously that's the dryer. And so once they get to the dryer, um, there would be another clue, another riddle, and it would say, it provides heat and also some light. It's where you'll find wood that's burning bright. And if you can imagine, there's a couple places that we burn wood. So they actually ran out back first of all, and then eventually we had to like work them that it's the fireplace. Um, and then from there, now this is where I switched up the type of clue that they were receiving. So from there, I wanted it to be a picture clue with no words. And on it, I put two bearded dragons, one that's small and one that's big. And I circled the big one because we have two bearded dragons in separate cages. One's a girl, one's a boy. If you look at our other videos, you'll see. But I hid the clue in the canopy of our bigger bearded dragon's cage. So something that I guess that's another thing to keep in mind with the scavenger hunt is that they can be riddles, they can be pictures, and I'll get to some other ideas as well. So when they got to our bigger bearded dragon's cage, it was another riddle. And it says, while mommy works, here she can be found. It's black and leather and spins all the way around. And he knew right away that it was this chair. Actually, I use this to work at my desk. And they ran there, and at my desk. Now this is a really cool one. So at my desk in the envelope was another clue, or what looked like would be another clue. When they pulled it out, it was blank. And I'm going to, at the end of this video, I'm going to just a small clip of some of the things that they did. I didn't put the whole video of I didn't even take a whole video. They were running around way too fast for me to actually record it. But you can see this. This is an invisible marker, and when he opened it up, it looked blank. And I had to give him a hint that there was something with the clue, because this was sitting right in front of it, but he was moving too fast to actually see it. And so this invisible pen comes with a black light. I don't know. I don't even really know what that's called, but it comes with a little light that you can write this invisible ink on and then read it. So you'll see in the video that he was reading the clue with this pen light. So that was the second clue, or that was the fourth clue. Fifth clue, if you're including the verbal one that I gave them. And here I have a little bit of a little snip of the video for this one as well, but I wanted his next clue to be with his siblings. He's got an older sister and an older brother. And what I did for this clue was I took a picture of our sink, which is the location where the next clue would be. So I took a picture of our sink and I glued it to a cardboard and cut it out into a puzzle. And so in the envelope that his siblings were carrying, they had pieces to a puzzle that he could put together. And so he put that puzzle together, and it was a picture of our downstairs bathroom sink. So once they got to the sink, that was another idea of how you can give them clues to find their next location. And so after that, under the sink, let me flip this around. After the sink was another riddle. And it says, although I'm not real, I am nothing but bone. I sit on the front porch to watch you come home. And on our front porch, we have a skeleton that the boy is named Bob. And that was where the next clue was. A skeleton because it's Halloween time. So we have Halloween decorations out. And so they ran to Bob. And from there, it says, this is something in your kitchen. Meat, milk, and yogurt it does hold. The reason you put them in this is because it helps keep them cold. And I will share that I'd say maybe half of the riddles you can find online. You can Google like riddles for sink or riddles for fireplace or fridge. And so some of them I used for that. Some of them I made up on my own, which, I don't know if that'd be hard for everybody, but it's just a quick little thing that rhymes, I guess. And so this is where this is like the ninth clue, and I like to make it to where it's getting a little harder. So he's turning 7, and subtraction and adding are something that they're working on in his grade. So in the fridge, there was a clue that said, solve this code. You see there is 1, 2, 3. Use it to open what's under the magnolia tree. And in our backyard, we have a magnolia tree. And there was like this little math problem that he got. I just spilled something on this too, so that's why it looks a little wet. But he had to solve this little clue. And what was under the magnolia tree I had sitting in front of me was this thing. Now, I didn't have this before the party, but it was only $12 on Amazon, and it's a little lock box. I'm not sure if I can show you well enough, but it's a little lock box that you turn the numbers to open it, and which I thought was really cool. I had never had a lockbox before, so I thought that they'd like putting in the code on this. So they ran out to the magnolia tree, and in this, I think let me open this up so I can show you what it looks like. It's inside, but in this, I could just barely fit. They're still in there too. I could just barely fit some, like they have quite a few Nerf guns. I could barely fit some hand Nerf guns and some bullets, which $12 on Amazon, not bad if you're wanting to throw together like a cheaper party or a scavenger hunt. And then, not to mention, you'll have that as a little lockbox from here on out. It came with a little, I can even throw it down in the description box, but it came with a little, it looks like something you'd use for like a fundraiser ticket selling or something, because it had like a money slots, a little money drawer that I took out in the top of it. And then in the lockbox with the Nerf guns and the bullets, it said, "The hunt is almost over. You and your friends will need a gun. Shoot down the targets that hang over the place. We have pool ball fun." And now this is the second to last clue. And here is where I didn't take any pictures at all. I didn't take any videos, but I can explain to you what I did and tell you what I did wrong. So, uh, first of all, we have a pool table in our basement, and I put the cover on it and had it all set up to where it wasn't the pool table. It just had like a little platform on top of it, and above that, I hung these above that, and they were these little guys, and I folded up another riddle and folded up in 4 different ones of these, taped it on the inside. So these are the things that they were going to shoot down. And so what I did was I tied a string to this little lip, and I tested it out, and they seemed to fall when I like tapped them a little bit. I didn't try shooting the gun. I was running out of time. So I I tied a little string around here and hung them to the ceiling right above the pool table. And I did that above the pool table so that they wouldn't have the opportunity to like knock them down themselves. And they actually had to shoot it down. Now, it didn't work. They were shooting them, and I think they were actually hitting them, but they weren't coming off of the string to pull down and find the clues or like the lines. And each line I lined with like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they knew which order they went in. But um, what I would have done different with this is I would have gotten like a little platform. You can get them from like Dollar Tree, or even if you have some like leftover plywood, you could cut up little pieces that these actually set on rather than tying a string to it. Because I think if you would have set it on a little platform and then tied like glued the strings, like you could hot glue the strings and then tie them to the ceiling, they would have been knocked off of that platform a lot easier. So I would have done that differently, because we ended up actually having to just like smack them down. But it was still a pretty cool idea. And underneath the targets on top of the pool table, I put more bigger guns and Nerf guns and bullets, Nerf bullets. Um, I put more of them so that the rest of his friends, because in that lockbox I could only fit like a handheld one. And so anyway, that was my favorite part of the entire scavenger hunt, because I think that's their favorite part, that in each scavenger hunt that I did that was like a pretty large one, I always use these targets because they've always had them, and I think that's one of their favorite parts, is having to shoot down these targets. And so that was the second to last clue, and in those targets they had the last riddle, which said, "You've made it to the end. I'm sure your excitement grows. When you walked down the basement stairs, your prize was right under your nose." And that's another one that I made up, because underneath our basement stairs, we have a storage room. And in that storage room, you can go to your left, and underneath that is like the under the stairs area for more storage or whatever. And that is where his gifts were. Um, So I don't know. Maybe this scavenger hunt, or maybe me sharing the scavenger hunt, you could follow them exactly how I did them, or um, make up your own, or have ideas for different areas. I'm sure a lot of houses have a lot of the same areas that I used. So, having said that, I wanted to share what I would have done differently, and maybe some of the trials that we experienced. So he's crazy, and I'm sure all boys are crazy. There's like the handful of boys, they were just so rowdy, and they weren't even listening to the clues completely. They would read a clue and then just start running. They didn't even know where they were going. I think even for that fireplace one, it was right in front of them, but they all started running upstairs for some reason. I don't even think they were processing it properly. So if this is like a birthday party idea, maybe you want to be selective about, what kind of kids you're. These are all sporty kids who run around like crazy. So And another thing is to make it probably a little more one track is maybe not the riddles for that age group. Um, because I think if it were my older son and his friends, I think they would have been able to stay focused a little bit longer. Now, Carter, I think for those clues, he could have found them, um, he could have followed them just fine. But him and his group were too rowdy. They were way too rowdy to really stay on track. So we had to really help them a lot. And some of these clues, I really thought for sure that they would get just fine on their own. But yeah, I would have made the clues a little bit easier or chosen this birthday idea for, or if it was just one of these birthdays that we weren't inviting friends and it was just him and his big brother, then I think they would have been able to be a little more on track. But with a handful of friends that never come over to your house or don't often come over to your house all at once, I think they were pretty distracted. So that's something to keep in mind. Um, and so maybe I'll have Carter come sit in here with me and tell you what he thought of it and just give you an um, honest answer. And maybe it won't be honest because mommy's listening, but I'll be back.
Hi.
Hi. This is Carter. Oh, how old are you? Oh, how many is that?
6.
Are you 6?
6.
You're not 6.
7.
You're 7. Oh my gosh. Did you forget? Did you forget you turned 7?
7.
Okay. And when is your birthday?
October 13th.
October 13th. And do you remember your birthday party?
Same day.
It was on the same day. Do you remember what it was?
Party.
Yeah, what did you do at your party?
Do a scavenger hunt.
You did a scavenger hunt?
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Maybe you're getting a little blurry here. Look up at the. What did you think of your scavenger hunt? Thumbs up. Do you think it was a little crazy though with all your buddies?
Yes.
Yes. But you ended up finding your prize. Which was your favorite clue? Do you remember? Do you remember any of the clues? You don't remember any of the clues? Oh my. Okay. Well, I guess I just wanted to pull you on here and have you tell everyone what you thought of your scavenger hunt. We got some microphones, and he's messing with them. Okay. Well, thanks, Carter. Okay. Can you say bye to everybody?
Bye.
Okay. So, maybe a little bit older of an age group or one for just one kid, because I think he can agree that it was pretty crazy, but pretty cool, like especially if it's just an event you wanted to make pretty cheap on the weekend to give your kids something to do around the house. I know my boys really, really love the scavenger hunt that I put together for them. So let me know if you have any other questions or if I can share any ideas for a scavenger hunt that you might be planning. And I can also share links to the invisible pens, maybe even some of the targets. I'm sure you've seen those before because they come with like the Nerf guns and things. So, and for the lockbox, those were 3 crucial parts of it. And as for the decorations, I just did usual. I always use my Cricut to make my son's banner that you'll see in the picture. I'm going to blur out his friends' faces and things. And what's this still on? Yeah. Sorry. um, but I use my Cricut for the scavenger hunt. I had Croker make his cake, and I just put on there like a little X marks the spot for a treasure map kind of idea. And everything else was pretty simple. We had Chick-fil-A for, got a little platter of Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, which I found out are gluten-free, but one of his friends is gluten-free and all the other like peanut things free too. So he didn't even end up staying for dinner and cake though. So I chose that for him, but he wasn't even there. But yeah, and oh, and for the goodie bags, I just got clear. I can put those up on there too. I got clear little baggies, and inside I had bought a pack of these, which is what I'm going to be putting in the description. But I bought a pack of these and put this and a notepad, and I still love chocolate coins. So I got this, man, Party City had a good amount of chocolate coins, and they were tasty too. I mean, I know a lot of people think that chocolate coins don't taste good, but they were tasty. And I put a handful of chocolate coins, a Reese's, Sour Patch Kid, and there was one more thing, but there might not have been. So, but that was the goodie bags. And that was his birthday. It was a little stressful, but I got it done. And I was pretty proud that I got everything set up throughout the day that I wanted to for his birthday. So, thanks for watching the video. This was a lot of talking and not so much so many visuals, but I'll end the video with a clip of him reading the clues, him and his brother. His brother helped him read some of it, the clues, and a picture of him at the end. I really loved sharing that, and a picture of him in his Nana, because she got him this really cool Spider-Man gift that he really loves and he still has, but you have to charge it. So hey, thanks for watching my video. Be sure to enjoy the things that you love and share with me what you thought. Thanks. See ya.
Flashlight. You are
One of.
You are one of three.
Slow down, baby.
the youngest
The youngest
of them. The
Of them all.
two hold hold
An envelope.
hold an envelope. Both
tall and small.